following has been brought to you by RockSolidFanClub.ca.
Welcome back to the Law Live Audio Wrestling. Chris, I know you know this, but life's a work. And while we're working, let's talk a little bit of the work itself. Professional wrestling, the greatest storyline going right now in all of professional wrestling, in my opinion. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. What are your thoughts after this match that they had and leading out of it, and where do we go from here?
Well, I mean, clearly with putting Seth Rollins in there in that last one, that was just kind of you knew that was just chapter one of this whole thing. I think that there's a lot of legs still to be, worked on in this match. I think that there's a lot of money to be had in this match, but then you have to ask yourself, okay, you've had special guest referee right out the gate. So where do you go from here? Right? What's your next match? Do you have, you could lumberjack match. Well, neither one of them have friends. So that one's kind of out the window. You know what I mean? That isn't a thing. Usually with there's other people involved when you have to have a lumberjack match.
That's a pretty good line, actually. That's a pretty good thought. You
right?
Can't have a lumberjack match because nobody on the roster anywhere likes them.
Yeah. They're
in story.
Why are we forced out here? We don't give a shit about these two.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That always baffled me about lumberjack matches. So then what other kinds of matches could you possibly have with them? You know, a dog collar match? That might be cool, but I don't know.
Strap match.
I don't know
strap match.
That's going to sell.
I think strap match or dog collar match is a good idea, yes, but you're right. I don't know what that's going to sell.
So what do you think would be the biggest kind of match? First blood match? Lots of carnage? Okay. One of those guys would be so silly as to do the old fucking nick the pinky.
They're not allowing blood right now. I think they've let a couple circumstances go with these two because they already have had a blood angle, Cody and Rock and all that.
So, however, we do know that they're going to Netflix coming up, right?
Yeah.
So that means that they can be a little bit more extreme. And
I know where you're going.
And we do know that they have already taken away a certain pay-per-view or PLE but have already said that they will have matches to that extent.
That's not what I thought. I thought you were going to say, let's bring back the pig pen match from
Braun panties, Punk. And
no, the pig pen match, the one where they do it in the mud with it was Henry Godwin.
No, no, dude, just the stink and the cleanup afterward. Never a good idea. Yeah, you might as well have a buried alive match. You might as well have.
Can we kill one of them?
Might as well have a buried alive match on an indie show. That's how silly of an idea that is.
Like a casket match on an indie show.
Oh yeah, all of those.
Like a crucifix, barbed wire crucifix match on an indie show
on Easter.
On Easter with a devil hosting it.
I mean, that would never happen.
New Jack. R.I.P. Jerome.
So anyway, like I was saying, we've got Netflix coming back or coming in the fold. We've got these two that are building up a rivalry that could be ecstatic for the ages, right? Something to go down fantastically.
What pay-per-view was taken away? What are you talking about?
Hell in a Cell.
Oh, shit.
Hell in a Cell was taken away as a PLE. Am I correct?
Yeah, dude, that's a really good idea, man.
Have that match. And if you were to have that match, Hell in a Cell match, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, I'm just saying that sells some tickets, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, would that be because they want to keep Seth Rollins out? Usually a Hell in a Cell is because they're trying to keep out a faction or they're trying to keep out any sort of interference or any way that it could be, disqualification or whatever it is, that they do it to contain the fight.
Well, it's two reasons.
Grudge / that.
It's to keep people out and it's to keep people from leaving.
How do we get there?
Right?
How do we get there?
I think getting there is the easy part. I think getting there is something that's probably got to be made by management. Something that's got to be made by management because it's just out of control. These guys are fighting throughout the show. All of a sudden, security can't throw them out there, ambushing each other in their own personal lives. You know what I mean? They're causing such hardship on one another that the only way to settle the score is to lock the two of them without any kind of, way to leave, like two little kids, lock them into the room and say, until you figure it out, or one of you can't do anything anymore. Hell, make it an I quit match. Hell in a Cell I quit match. Let's amp it up.
Where does this leave R-Truth?
Still being the greatest of 50 wrestlers of all time.
The best.
That's where it leaves R-Truth.
All right. Well, I'd love to see them finish the CM. So I think CM Punk and Gunther is another match that we're going to lead to. Right? That's something that's coming next year, possibly WrestleMania. I would assume it's the WrestleMania match is going to be Gunther, or if Seth gets the belt back, then it would be Seth and CM Punk, right? But I honestly think it probably is going to be CM Punk and Gunther by then. So when do you do this? Do you do this in Survivor Series, like War Games? Do you do this in September and have them take a couple months off to rest the body? Where do we go? When do we do this?
I listen. I don't like the idea of having it at having Gunther and CM Punk at Mania for next year.
Why?
Personally, that's just me.
That's a good fucking match right there.
But what's a bigger spot match?
Seth and CM Punk.
Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Hell in a Cell match at Mania in Vegas.
You're crazy.
Come on, man.
I think it's a great idea, but they don't do Hell in the Cells at WrestleMania anymore because it screws up the stadium vibe. It's like there's a whole group of people that they can't sell tickets to because the thing is, and especially if it's one of those red cages, it's just fucking eyesore the whole time, right?
Have you seen the stadium in Las Vegas?
No. Well, yeah, I've watched football.
It's a football stadium. It could be done.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Could be fucking done.
Could be done. I'm just saying. Not that they have to, but if we're going to overbook the shit out of stuff, let's go.
RockSolidFanClub.ca gives you full access to Canada's leader in professional wrestling, featuring legends like Mick Foley, modern megastars such as Cody Deaner, and future sensations like Tyler Turva. RockSolidFanClub.ca offers exclusive series, podcasts, live streams, specials, and full events, all for less than $9 a month. Sign up today at RockSolidFanClub.ca, where real fans get it.